India is regarded as an economic engine of world prosperity. It's also reminisced as a land of Maharajas, especially if you think of Rajasthan, the colorful history of the palaces, the forts, the temples. One always thinks of Udaipur. The state of Mewar, where Udaipur is, was founded in 734 AD. Few of you will know that actually House of Mewar is now in its 76th generation, and the custodian of House of Mewar is Shriji Arvind Singh Mewar, who is widely credited for transforming the Udaipur's fortunes from being a simple city with palaces and forts into a major tourist hub. And not only that, he's been vital in building multiple institutions spanning healthcare to education. And today we are privileged to have Shriji Arvind Singh Mewar at CAS today. A very warm welcome.
Thank you.
And let me begin by asking you the first question, which many of our audience would be interested in listening to, is after the India's independence, there was a lot of turmoil and Maharajas lost their privileges. How did House of Mewar carve itself in its new role where it is today?
Well, it was not easy. My grandfather amalgamated the state of Udaipur in 47, and in 55 he passed away. So my father had this role of establishing Udaipur in the new democratic system. We were not so well prepared, and neither were the other Maharajas of India at the time. But as time passed, he realized, and quite rightly too, that the most important thing that the family needs to do is to create a source of revenue. We had been asked to retain properties as personal properties, but there wasn't a adequate revenue to sustain that, to sustain the family with some dignity, and most importantly, the role and responsibilities of the Maharana during the state time also had to be discharged, and father was very conscious of that fact. And there was no revenue to be able to do and fulfill those obligations. So the first thing he did was created some of our palaces and converted them into hotels. And that was the turning point, and that was the beginning of independent revenue in post-independent area. So, and I only built upon the legacy I inherited in 84 when my father passed away, and we were rather entrepreneurial in our approach, a modern approach, and I'm glad we did, because in comparison to our brother princesses, this model seems to have worked and worked well.
What is interesting is not only that you've built the revenue stream, but you also created a very vibrant and prosperous city, which is not just known for hotels, but also for its institutions, education institutions. Was this a set vision?
Most definitely. Once the basics were taken care of, I decided that we must convert Udaipur as a destination of excellence, not just a tourist spot, because it's beautiful and it lends itself to very good movement of international and domestic tourists. I thought that we will now create it into a place of excellence. And when I looked around, I saw that it was not really possible to bite more than you can chew. So we decided that the area around the lake and the palaces and so on, which are controlled by us, should be the role model for a sustainable, developed 21st century destination, and we call that the city within a city. That was our private property, and we thought that we could develop it the way it ought to be developed, with proper advice, and to name the area, we called it the city within a city. And then from there, we moved on, where a few years ago we decided that we needed a brand, which is very, very necessary. So we came up with this brand of Eternal Mewar. The reason being that, as you very correctly pointed out, that our founding father was in 734, Bapa Rawal, and I am continuing in the family as the 76th custodian. We believed in the governance through custodianship and not kingship, and therefore it was very necessary that a brand which denotes custodianship and is relevant to the time should be selected, and we selected it. And my successors to be have also got to make sure and remember that they need to keep the vibrancy and the energy of the state of former state of Udaipur very, very relevant. And I coined this word called contemporization. So we've got to always be contemporary and relevant to the time which we live in, which provides the flexibility for them to do whatever they have to do in order to keep it relevant and contemporized. So there's no manual as such, other than the fact that the manual is of the values that the house has always adhered to, and they're very clear and very well stipulated. They are unwritten,